Picture this. You're 18, wearing a cap and gown. Everyone's cheering like you just unlocked adulthood. And then, your future arrives in the mail with a minimum payment, not a job offer, not a key to an apartment, a bill. Welcome to the modern American coming-of-age story. Congratulations on graduating. Now please send us money every month for the next decade. And here's the part nobody says out loud. Student loans aren't just help. They're a machine that turns your future into collateral. Because when you sign that loan, you're not borrowing money. You're selling a slice of the next 10 to 20 years of your life. Your first real paycheck? Already promised. Your first apartment? Already priced. Your first chance to take a risk? Already punished. And the lie that makes the whole thing feel noble is so simple it could fit on a billboard. Invest in yourself. Sounds inspiring, right? Like you're buying a better future. But in practice, it often works like this. We let teenagers swipe a magical credit card for a product whose price keeps rising. And then, we act shocked when the bill follows them into their 30s. Let me make it even weirder. Try walking into a bank at 18 and saying, "Hi, I'd like $60,000 to start a business." They'll laugh you out of the building. But say, "Hi, I'd like $60,000 for college." And suddenly the money shows up like a game show prize. Why? Because this isn't really about believing in you. It's about believing in the system around you. So today, we're going to explain the student loan trap like you're 5. No jargon, no inspirational posters, just the brutal math and the incentives that made this mess feel normal. Because once you see how the machine works, you'll stop blaming yourself for not managing it better and start asking a much scarier question. If this is such a great investment,
I'd like a
why does it
$60,000
feel
business
like a
loan,
life sentence?
please.
All right.
Nope.
Rewind. A long time ago, college was expensive, sure, but it wasn't mortgage without the house expensive. Then something changed. Not overnight, not with one villain twirling a mustache, with incentives. Here's the child-friendly version. Imagine a candy store where the price of candy keeps going up. Normally, kids would stop buying candy because kids don't have money. But what if a friendly adult shows up and says, "Don't worry, I'll lend you the candy money." And even better, "I'm pretty sure you'll pay me back later." Suddenly, the store owner learns a beautiful lesson. Kids can't afford candy, but kids can borrow candy. So the owner raises the price, a little at first, then more, because the line never stops. That's the student loan ecosystem in one picture. When the money becomes easy, the price becomes brave. Student loans are uniquely powerful because they're socially approved debt. They come wrapped in moral language. It's not gambling, it's not shopping, it's education, it's your future, it's being responsible. So families say yes, students say yes, schools keep building shiny things to attract students, and the price tag quietly climbs because the customer isn't really paying today. Now, add another ingredient: time. Student loans don't just charge you a fee for borrowing. They charge you for borrowing for a long time. And here's the sneaky part. A lot of people don't understand they're not just borrowing for tuition. They're borrowing for living, for rent, for food, for the privilege of existing while studying, which is how just a degree turns into a debt mountain. And then comes the most dangerous word in the entire system: later. You'll pay later, you'll figure it out later, you'll make more money later. And later is where the trap lives. Because later is where interest grows. Later is where paperwork gets confusing. Later is where a small number becomes a big one without you noticing. So now we need to talk about the monster under the bed. Interest. Not the romantic kind. The kind that eats your 20s. Okay. Explain like you're 5 time. You borrow 10 cookies. The deal is, you pay back 10 cookies plus extra cookies every month for borrowing them. Those extra cookies are interest. Now imagine you don't have cookies yet because you're in school. So you say, "Can I pay later?" The system says, "Sure." But the extra cookies don't stop. They keep piling up. And here's where the trap goes from fair to what the hell. Sometimes, when you delay payments, the extra cookies don't just sit there. They can get added onto the original 10 cookies. So next month, you're not paying interest on 10. You're paying interest on 12, then 13, then 14. That's how debt gains weight while you're standing still. This is why student debt feels haunted. You can do nothing, and it still grows. Now, zoom out. Real life isn't cookies. It's rent and job searches and anxiety and medical bills. So people look for relief. They pause payments, they reduce payments, they take temporary breaks. They do what any normal human would do when the math is crushing them. And the system smiles and says, "Totally. We can help." But help often has fine print. And fine print is where your balance learns how to multiply. There's also the psychological trap. You think you're making progress because you're sending money. But if your payment is small and interest is large, you might be doing the financial version of bailing out a sinking boat with a spoon. You feel responsible. You feel adult. You feel like you're handling it. And then you check the balance 2 years later and it's basically the same. Or worse, bigger. That's not laziness. That's not bad budgeting. That's math plus structure. And the structure has another cruel effect. It changes your life choices. You don't choose the job you want. You choose the job that pays enough to keep the monster calm. You don't take risks. You don't start the business. You don't move to the cheaper city because moving costs money. You don't buy the house because your debt to income looks ugly on paper. You delay everything that makes adulthood feel like adulthood. And then the shame kicks in because everyone told you this was an investment. So if you're struggling, you assume you're the problem. But here's the flip. If millions of people have the same personal failure, it's not personal. It's the system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Keep you paying, keep you predictable, keep you inside the machine. So who's winning? Because somebody is. Here's the part that stings. In a healthy system, the product should serve the buyer. In this system, the buyer serves the product. Student loans created a world where schools get paid up front. Students take the risk, and the bill follows the student for years. It's not that every university is evil. It's not that every lender is a cartoon villain. It's that the incentives are upside down. Easy borrowing tells schools, you can raise prices without losing demand. Because the customer isn't paying with today's money. They're paying with tomorrow's life. And interest tells the system, the longer the struggle lasts, the more money the debt can produce. So the trap isn't just the loan, it's the story. Go to college or you'll fail. Borrow now, you'll earn later. It's good debt. It's an investment. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But the system sells it like it's always true. And that's how people sign contracts they don't fully understand at 18. For consequences they'll live with at 28. So, what can you actually do? First, stop thinking in tuition. Think in total price. Not how much is school, how much is the debt after interest and time. Second, treat later like a trap door. Every delay, every pause, every temporary plan. Ask, does interest keep growing? Does the balance get bigger? Does anything get added onto anything? Third, borrow as if future you is the one signing. Because they are. Future you is the one missing opportunities. Future you is the one paying the monthly tax on decisions you made under pressure. And fourth, keep receipts like you're building a legal case. Because if your future depends on a paperwork system, paperwork is power. Now, here's the cliffhanger. Student debt isn't just a personal finance story. It's a pricing story. Why did college get so expensive in the first place? Who set the prices? Where did the money actually go? Because if student loans are the engine, college pricing is the fuel. And in the next episode, we're going to pull on the thread nobody wants pulled. The college price explosion, explained like you're 5. If you want to understand the system before it prices your entire life, subscribe. Because the scariest traps don't look like traps. They look like a smart decision until the bill arrives